In terms of algorithm, have you seen any changes compared to 2024 to 2025?
But what I wanted to say from Accelerate, my takeaway was that Amazon is mostly focused on AI.
We have PPC and organic ranking, right? So it's a balance basically in order to rank higher.
So that's what actually products do, and this is why people emotionally purchase.
How does Amazon interpret sales velocity and the conversion rate?
The more you sell, the more Amazon sees that it's a good product, is desired.
Ecom Squeezed podcast.
Welcome to Ecom Squeezed. I'm your host Sebastian, founder of Retail-Outsource, and today we got a special guest who specializes on ranking and on PPC. Marcel Marculescu is in studio, and he's an Amazon PPC strategist, consultant, and the guy who probably dreams about keywords maybe when he's sleeping. He helps sellers scale, rank, and dominate the Amazon marketplace. And if your listing is on like page 5 or 6, then this is the episode for you. So we are going to dig into the ranking and the PPC section. Welcome to the show, Marcus.
Thank you, Sebastian. Happy to be here, and thank you for that very nice introduction. So hello, everyone. Today we'll be diving into the tips and tricks on how to rank and how the Amazon ecosystem is treating your product and what you can do to optimize it. So Before we're diving into it, could you just give us a background, how you end up on the PPC side of Amazon? So I started myself as an Amazon seller back in 2017. That's when tools were not available so much. Helium 10 was barely starting up, and we were pretty much fighting with whatever Amazon was throwing at us. So that's when I started. I have a background in IT. I was an architect developing backup solutions for corporations, and my knowledge in IT came in pretty handy because I tend to understand how things work in order to replicate them. So that's a good approach from my side when it comes to, first of all, to my own business, and then to, of course, sharing the knowledge and helping others get more visibility, more exposure, and at the end, of course, more sales, because we're in this for the sales, right?
Make sales, yes, exactly. So let's start with the basic, right? In terms of algorithm, have you seen any changes compared to 2024 to 2025? And if you've seen some changes, what are the main changes?
Changes are happening almost every day, so I cannot say that Amazon is just providing us with a stable platform, but it's all about how you look at it. Right now, Amazon is mainly focused around AI and introducing Rufus and Cosmo, so it's definitely a big change, and like I said, changes are happening every day. Now, from the seller perspective, what we should do and what I am focused on is constantly developing new skills and understanding and staying up to date with whatever's changing on Amazon. So in terms of the basics, I think some things will remain like they are now. Like, for example, we have right now keyword that is leading a customer to our listing, and from there the customer can actually place a purchase on our product. Before we go to that, it's very important to common ground. We have a good product, we have an established product, we're getting good reviews, so no bad reviews. Those are definitely influencing the visibility we get on Amazon, and from there on creating a very good listing, SEO optimized, and not just stuffing the listing with a lot of keywords, but making it very, very, let's say, relevant for how Amazon analyzing it. That would be the foundation of every new product, or established product for that matter, in order to be successful on Amazon. So starting from that foundation, we can build on. That's definitely the first thing I would look at. And in terms of everything that's happening, I remember I've been to Accelerate last year in September in Amazon. So that's, for those who don't know, that's Amazon event. They are bringing in all the top information and all the top speakers. And for those that haven't attended, this is very important to know that you can go to Accelerate and you can register, and you can get a hold of a specialist there. For us, the Seller Cafe, this is what it's called. You can actually talk and solve one of your biggest problems that you have with Amazon support, for example, and just do it, within 40 minutes that you have with that representative. It's about talking and being heard by Amazon and really solving problems. But what I wanted to say from Accelerate, my takeaway was that Amazon is mostly focused on AI. Most of the topics and everything that happened on stage was around AI and how Amazon is bringing that to us as sellers in terms of, with PPC, for example, generating images and now videos with AI. So it's definitely around automation and AI. I'd say everything that's happening. So staying up to date with that is a must nowadays.
Yeah, means you brought him some nice points. Mainly, to have a good product, that's the base, right? If you get that wrong, no matter what you do, what kind of circus you do with PPC or SEO, it's just not going to work, right? At the end of the day.
Yeah,
that's a very good point, Marcel. My next question will be, we have PPC and organic ranking, right? So it's a balance basically in order to rank higher. So we can use PPC as a push, right, for the organic ranking. So let's put a scenario. So I'm launching a product, I have 0 reviews, right? I have 0 sales history. So in that scenario, how will you approach it? Means how you will execute PPC to support, to increase the organic ranking?
That's a great question. We actually have a service for product launches and it's definitely around that. So I'm joining different stages and I try to educate people around how to, what's my approach and what's my best practice when it comes to launching a new product, and also on established products can definitely be applied as a growth instrument. With IntelliRank, we have a service that's called product testing. In product testing, we can get buyer data and we can bring in actually the sales that you need, especially at the beginning, to get that visibility, that momentum, and to get the first steps within the Amazon marketplace. Now you can look at it like gathering big data, gathering information from actually your customers, and trying to get sales, get momentum, and push your product within Amazon's algorithm. Of course, imagine, landing your product on Amazon, like you very well mentioned, Sebastian. You have 0 sales, you're potentially 0 reviews. So yeah, that's definitely a new product. And when you start, you want to show Amazon that you deserve a chance. In order to do that, first of all, you need to bring in sales. We have learned that the most powerful, influencer for the algorithm nowadays and always have been the actual sales. So the fact that you're selling is very important for Amazon's algorithm, will always remain important and will give you a good visibility spike. Let's call it spikes within the algorithm. But also you can look at the negative side whenever you're getting a bad review, a 1-star or 2-star reviews. That's another trigger that will give you a spike in down. So it will bring you down a bit in visibility. Amazon is working on this kind of, how to pull them, stimulants, if you will. So adding a product to cart, even adding to wish list. Back in the days, people were doing this and, adding a lot of products to the wish list, and a lot of people adding your product to the wish list or to cart, and that would influence the actual positioning into the search results. That was back in the days. This is still important because this is the natural human behavior. People add to wish list, they add to cart, and of course eventually they end up placing a purchase on the product. Again, the actual sale, the purchase, when a customer purchases the product, that's the best and most powerful influence that you have on your product and showing Amazon, hey, this product is desired. From there on, of course, getting a good review or not getting a bad review, better yet, because most of the people don't give out reviews. Staying away from bad reviews will keep you, bouncing and moving up in the hierarchy and the ranking itself. So that's one way of looking at it. Another way, through the paid advertising, through PPC, of course, running an auto campaign, discovery campaign, that's a must. And trying to target the most important keywords for your product. While I would tend to start with long tails, so I would tend to start from the bottom up. Of course, you don't want to target the most powerful keywords because, there'll be your product out there on the top, or you can outbid your competitors, that's no problem, but you still have 0 reviews or 0 social proof. So I always look at the product on its entire life cycle. This means that from the beginning, focus on showing that your product is good and also testing it because, you have a good faith in it. We eventually get attached to our products, and that's a different factor because to our images, to everything, we say, okay, I have the best images, I have the best product. Why am I not selling? Well, it's Yeah, it's more like about the customer than it's about us as sellers, because sometimes it's important to detach and just look as an observer over the whatever's happening and watch the numbers. That's where the secret is. It's in the numbers, not in the emotions from our side as sellers. From the buyers, from the consumer side, yes, it's about emotion. It's about pain or pleasure. We want to give them, to solve them a pain or a problem that they have, or to provide them with some pleasure while doing some other things. So that's what actually products do, and this is why people emotionally purchase. What we do, we influence that. Go ahead, Sebastian, you wanted to say something, or?
No, go ahead.
All right. So going back to this, you want to build a very strong foundation, so get reviews. Here I would touch base just for a little on the reviews part, because it's very hard to get reviews. I give you that. Everyone knows it, and some people go, the bad way of getting reviews and trying to get reviews by paying for them and stuff like that. That's one way. I do not want to look at it on the long run, because I've been there. I've tried it back in the days, and Amazon came up with that. I don't know, was it 2021 or whenever that happened, and all the reviews have been removed and products were flagged from getting any more reviews. So Amazon is, just coming back to you eventually. Building up nowadays, a good way to build up reviews from my point of view is through variations. So, this is the key. Building up a product means actually thinking variations. It can be color variation, or I don't know, maybe bundle of 2-3 items. Depends what you're selling. Of course, this cannot be applied to all the products. If you have a very expensive product, that's a tricky one, but still, variations can definitely help, at least at the beginning. Whenever you launch your product, try not to put them under the same parent, but try to get them as separate ASINs. So you have 3 variations, for example, color variations. Put them separately in Amazon, enroll them separately into Vine. Do not put them under the same parent, and wait. Wait until the Vine campaigns for all 3 of them conclude. This means the status, if you look into the Vine program, the status is concluded. And when they're concluded, you can put them together under the same parent and putting their reviews together and getting that huge spike into reviews and help for that matter. So we definitely need it. We definitely, right now, this is the way I would look at it. This also works for established products. So you can bring in another variation just for getting up to 30 reviews. 20 reviews is great. And then, putting that into the parent. Even if that can turn into what we call the variation graveyard sometimes. So we have a lot of dead variations there, but still they can benefit the parent and can bring you some good social proof. So I hope that makes sense.
Yes, it makes sense. And you made some good points, Marcel, about the wish list. I still remember in the olden times you were able to go on the internet and able to buy, wish list, just buy it and it will be done. And regarding variation, regarding wine also, I think the limit is 30, right, per ASIN.
Up to 30 per each ASIN. So imagine a 3 color variation can get you up to 90 reviews. So that's, I'd say, anything from 60 to 90, which is within the 2-digit variation. So if you put in another variation, you can go on 3-digit reviews. So that's something.
Yeah, and you mentioned about the conversion as well, right? So how does Amazon interpret, sales velocity and the conversion rate? So if you want to pick one, which one will you prioritize?
That's a great question. I always try to tell Amazon that a product is desired. So desires means, like I mentioned earlier, getting sales. You need to work on sales, either through organic ways or through PPC. You need to sell. The more you sell, the more Amazon sees that it's a good product, is desired. And let's move back a bit for a moment and think from Amazon's eyes. What is the number one focus on the Amazon world? Focus is the actual customer. So they care about the customers. This means the customers need to get good prices, of course, and need to be able to provide good reviews. If a customer provides a bad review, that's what? That's a signal for Amazon, hey, there's a problem with that product, so there's a problem with it. I will not show it so much because, that customer said it's not good. Still, that's number one priority. Number two priority for Amazon is what? To be profitable. Amazon needs to make money out of, us, the sellers, and their own products that they're selling through, plus their services and everything. They're making a ton of money. There may be other important factors there for Amazon, and then comes what? The seller. We're somewhere there. I'd say number 3. Let's put it like that, be optimistic. And we're number 3 in the hierarchy if we look from a specific point. So for us as the sellers to be on a good side, we're also there. And of course, we want to remain in Amazon's goodwill. In order to get Amazon's goodwill, we have to have a good product, competitive pricing, and sell. These are the 3 things I consider the most important ones when it comes to playing and selling on the Amazon platform. So as long as you're selling, not getting bad reviews, again, good reviews is something that you can get and it's very good, but not getting bad reviews can definitely help. And also focus on a good strategy. You need a good launch strategy and a good maintenance strategy. Maintenance means actually staying at the top. How do you stay at the top? You continue to sell. You may have the best product in the world. This is a statement I always make. If you're not selling, if you're not visible, nobody will purchase your product. So getting visibility and getting a lot of eyes on the product, it's a must. We always, within our PPC service, we always work from the funnel perspective. We have the 4 steps of the funnel when we work closely with Amazon. First one is the actual visibility that you get, the brand awareness that's being created. Then we're moving into consideration. Then we're moving into the actual conversion, and then loyalty. You want to measure and have KPIs for each of these important steps, and therefore know what you're bidding for. So it's a continuous process. It's not that you're investing right now in brand awareness and you're done with it. That's a continuous process to get as many eyes as possible on the product, and then from that many eyes, you get some clicks. You get people that actually are a bit concerned or maybe interested in the product to see a little bit more about them. So they land on your listing, they get to look around, and convincing them to actually move into the conversion step of the funnel is mandatory. Loyalty is a different factor, but definitely you can work on that as well by building bundles, providing more value and other complementary products that you can sell. But having a very good strategy and following the funnel is, for us, is the key. And we pride ourselves with this one.
Marcel, and you mentioned about the loyalty, right? So it might work on consumables like vitamins and stuff like that. What if it's like a camera or something like that? Mostly like one-time purchase. In that scenario, how does loyalty play in?
That's a great question, actually. And if you look at it from a different perspective, not everything is related and should remain with Amazon. There are ways for you to actually offer the customer with even more value, and then to get to send them more and more information. Now, again, this is another thing that I like very much. Whenever you're investing into, for example, into PPC, you're spending a lot of money for what? For that one click that will get you one sale. So that's what's happening. And what do you do next? You chase the other click that will get you one sale. So you're constantly chasing new customers, right? Mostly that's what's happening on the Amazon platform, which is very good and working for a lot of people out there. So I'm not saying it in a bad way. But what can you do even more with the tools that you have in order to get more visibility and actually to trigger the loyalty in customers? You mentioned the camera. Let's look at this, for example. If you're selling a camera, let's say you have a brand that sells photography instruments. So it can be a camera, it can be, whatever other what they call them, statives for the camera, to hold the camera and everything like that, right? So I'm assuming you have a brand. But yeah, you've sold one camera. Congratulations, you've made a bit of profit probably. If you're putting, again, aside all the expenses that you have, hopefully you get profit. That's the key. What do you do the next step in order to give people even more value and to get them to like or at least recommend your brand? That's the key. And this comes into, and it's the loyalty factor that you're building up there by providing and over-delivering to the people that are purchasing from you. So from that moment on, you have free hand in order to provide them with what? You can get the people out of Amazon onto your landing page, for example, and offer them with what? With warranty. Offer them with instructions on how to use the camera. So nothing illegal, nothing to break Amazon's TOS. We're not trying to do that. We're just trying to offer that person even more value based on the purchase they have made. By doing that, you can also get their email. That's part of the funnel usually. And then keep in contact with them and keep sending them information. What you can do afterwards is, also promote some of your other products. It can be physical products, but a lot of people don't think digital. If you're selling cameras, why not offer them with a course, simple course on how to use a camera and take the best pictures of their life. I'm sure you can go on Fiverr and just find someone that's, that can create the course for you. You pay them a couple of $100, whatever that's worth, and then you just simply sell your customers, the ones that have purchased the camera, sell them the course for, $37, something like that. And look at the long run, you bring in 1,000 sales on Amazon on that camera. Out of those 1,000, let's get a 0.5, or something, 0.5% of them will purchase the course. That's still improving the lifetime value. So, it's helping you out to build up. And once again, you also get that email and you have the email of your customers. Give them even more value. Try to stay in contact with them. Offer them tips and tricks. Anything related to photography, to their passion, to their, thing that they've purchased. If it's a camera, it may be, something in yoga. It may be something for children. Give them even more things to say, this is what we're looking for from the customer's perspective. To go in their circle there and say, I made the best purchase ever. I purchased from Sebastian a camera, and Sebastian has delivered a ton of information on how to use it, how to clean it, how to, take the best angles, the best photos. So, to be like the number one stop for anything related to the item that you're selling. I hope that makes sense. Yeah.
Yes, it makes sense. And you put in some great point, Marcel. I want to add something also to that.
Please.
So I've seen that people also include, if it's like something like instruction manual, they put a QR code and that will take them to the YouTube. So the first thing when you scan it, the subscribe to the channel, that will come up. So you have to subscribe. That means, for all the new product going forward, you can link them straight away, right? They can see that on their feed. I've seen that a lot of
amazing.
brands doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and my next question will be let's assume that I have 5 SKUs, okay, under same subcategory, competing for similarly the same keywords, okay. How do you do the PPC for them without cannibalizing the keywords? Should we put the keywords, just focus on the hero products, or should we just use the same keywords across the 5 SKUs?
That's a great question, and I'd say the only thing that matters here is the budget. If you ask me, having a brand and just being present in the same category, I would try to get my products front and center as the top of the search results for any keyword that is strong enough and relevant. So imagine seeing Sebastian's 5 products within the first half of the top of the page for any of those keywords. So for me, it's always about visibility. Yeah, sometimes you can definitely cannibalize on other keywords, but that's a technicality, I'd say, that the guys that are handling PPC in the back end, they are aware of it and they are tracking it and they are trying to get the best out of it. But think of it from this perspective. What are you trying to do? We are working on first of all, on the brand awareness, so visibility. You want to get your product visible. If they are, represented by the same strong keyword, which can be, camera, 4K camera or something like that, then that keyword is relevant for all the products. You're maybe having 4 versions or 5 versions of a 4K camera, different but with different specs, but still, the question is, should you put them under the same parent? If that's not the case, then you should have them as separate ASINs, and you definitely want them to be at the top of the search results. How do you achieve that? Follow the funnel. Of course, diving and looking into the cannibalizing aspect is a tricky part, but I wouldn't say I have an opinion of my own how to do that. I have the team backstage that is handling everything and making sure that first of all, the ads are being productive, so we want to focus a good return on ad spend. We want to be profitable from the ads, and of course, we're going to grow on each of even the fourth one a bit, on the 3 steps of the funnel. So first of all, visibility, consideration, then conversion, and loyalty. Why not?
Yeah. Marcel, you mentioned about the funnel, right, a few times. So I want to ask you, in terms of funnel, do you use any specific type of PPC campaigns for like top of search, brand awareness? In that scenario, what type of PPC will you use? And explain the rest of the funnel also if they use any specific type of PPC.
Yeah, that's a great question. Within the branding, the entire funnel, you want to focus on visibility and getting the of course as many eyes as possible on the actual listing. So following the funnel means actually looking at the ways that you can target through PPC. So you have the sponsored display that can be used through the entire funnel, from the awareness, consideration, conversion, and loyalty. With sponsored display, you can be on top of it. Definitely, you can leverage that through PPC. Sponsored products can definitely target conversion and loyalty, so you can stay at the bottom of the funnel with sponsored products, while sponsor brands can get you consideration and conversion. So it's a matter of looking which kind of PPC ads can bring you which kind of exposure, and that would be the key, I believe. So, yeah, always try to structure the campaigns, try to structure PPC, and you know which campaign and which type of campaign is targeting which step of the funnel. This way you know how to track them. But most importantly, set the KPIs, get the KPIs in your face just to know exactly, and look at the numbers. Try to build up the numbers to see how many people you got into awareness, how many people got to consideration phase, how many to conversion, and try to be on top of it. And this is not like I would say a simple job, but it's actually a simple job. Awareness is simple, viewable impressions. So you know how many people have been in the awareness stage of the funnel by actually, summing up the viewable impressions, how many impressions you have received over the entire PPC strategy over the entire period of time. Now, moving into consideration, you have the actual clicks, the actual new to brand customers, and the detailed page views, the actual people that click on the product and open your listing. It's as simple as that. Conversion, of course, KPIs for the conversion step would be the actual orders, the sales, and the return on ad spend. And yeah, of course, the loyalty part is the part where you actually look at repeated orders and also check the store followers, which is also a feature on Amazon.
Marcel, the next question I have is that in all the PPC give different ROI, right? So for example, if it's brand awareness, it will have a different ROI compared to another campaigns. In your experience, which one will give you the worst return?
So I'm not sure I'm following on this one. Yes, different campaigns have different ROIs, but
like for top of search, if you run a top of search campaign, right?
Yeah.
On the top funnel, for example, in your experience, what will be the ROIs that worse or compared to the other campaigns like bottom of the funnel campaigns?
I would look at all of them. So we have the entire strategy structured. So first of all, you look at the overall stats. So you take into consideration every aspect of the PPC. So you sum up all the KPIs and you look at the whole picture. If that whole picture has some stats, good or bad, next you can dive into different campaign levels and just analyze the KPIs for each campaign level and each type of targeting that you're doing. Of course, getting the information out of that and analyzing it means actually shifting a bit and optimizing the strategy. It's not let's say one solution fits all. It's a matter of analyzing and knowing if, hey, you want to continue to be top of search or you want to, just lower it a bit. It's a matter of fine-tuning, if you will. And I look at it, again, it's the guys on the back that are doing this, the operational team. They are constantly monitoring and playing with the numbers in order to get to the best results and based on what our clients are looking for. So I'd say it's a continual effort. I'd say always invest time in it. And yeah, at the end of the day, of course, you want to be there sometimes because that's getting you the most clicks. You want sales, you have to pay for the visibility, pay for the clicks, and for the actual sale.
Agree. Marcel, all the listing need to have a master keyword list, right? So in order to get those keywords, which software do you normally use or recommends for the viewers?
Well, that's a great question. I say it's a matter of preference. For example, I've mentioned Helium 10 at the beginning of this interview, and we are still with Helium 10 and we like what we get out of that tool. But for people out there, is Data Dive. That's a great tool as well from Brandon. We also have Jungle Scout. We also have other tools. Sellerize, of course, from Dima. So definitely it's a matter of preference from one seller to another. Again, we are with Helium 10. We like it so far and we're happy with it.
Yeah, that's true. It means we are with Helium 10 for almost 7 years. We are, that's the best. We have Data Dive, we have Smart Scout, we have a few other softwares, but the report from Helium 10, keyword one, it's the best. And for monitoring the ranking and heat map, Data Dive is the best always.
Well,
it's fantastic. So, Marcel, my next question will be a scenario in where a seller, for example, I launched a product like 10 days ago, right? And the sales are not picking up and it's not ranking, right? So what will be your first thing that you will look into for that in that scenario?
So you get no sales whatsoever. I would definitely look at the number of impressions to see how many people have seen the ad or the product. And based on that, to see how many have actually clicked through and actually have taken and moved to the second step of the funnel, to the consideration phase. Based on that, I can say that you can get some very good information. Maybe the main image is not a good one. Maybe, I don't know, maybe you have one one-star review that is not helping you out. Depends on a lot of factors, but most importantly, it depends on the numbers. So again, getting a lot of impressions and not so many clicks, for me, it's saying that your main image might need a little bit of tweaking just to stand out, just to get people to get that click. From one step of the funnel to the other, you have to watch again the KPIs, and the KPIs will talk to you. You get 1 million impressions, you get 1 click. That's definitely a problem. 1 million people have seen your product. You may be showing the product in the wrong categories, to the wrong people. You maybe have a bad main image that's not triggering that emotion or anything in the people that are actually browsing through that. So we're also struggling a lot with getting people to see the product. Again, this is the number one thing. So awareness, people to see the actual listing, the actual ad out there. Then, based on the number of impressions and generating a lot of impressions, will lead to actually clicks. You look there and you see how many people have clicked. This is telling you if you're... There are no perfect, main images. I can tell you that. But I always rely on Amazon's experiments. So try to experiment, try to A/B test, and let the customers and the consumers decide which one is a little bit better. You get the experiments there, you get some very good information about people that sometimes they prefer to look at your product differently than what you might think they want to perceive your product. So I guess that would be the only good advice I can give at this point. Watch the numbers, watch the KPIs, and based on the actual information that you get, try to experiment and to get different perspectives and different angles of the product, so people can actually understand what your product is about before clicking and before purchasing it. It's very important to talk the customer language.
Yeah, true, Marcel. And you mentioned about Amazon experiments, right? For example, a newly launched product might not able to utilize experiments because there's not enough sales history, right, attached to that.
If it's very new,
Yeah. In that scenario, which third-party software will you look into? Like we have a few on the market, right? Which one will you recommend, or which one do you like or use?
I recommend ourselves. So I recommend IntelliRank, because with IntelliRank you get customer data, like I explained earlier. You get a lot of information about your product, but you also get sales velocity and momentum. So if we're talking a fresh, newly launched product, I always recommend to start selling from day one. I have a saying, no day without sales. Imagine your product is live on Amazon, you get what? Day 1, probably 0 sales. Day 2, 0 sales. Day 3, you might get a sale. Everyone's happy. Day 4, 0 sales. So it's pretty much like that. Why? Because you don't have visibility, you don't have social proof, you might not get a lot of traction. So when we get the product testing campaign and implement it into the strategy, we can organize every day a sale. So you get 2-3 sales the first day, 4 sales the second day, maybe again 2-3 sales the third day. So it's a matter of getting sales, and also getting customer data. This will do what? This will set the foundation for your product and will give it information and also some good feedback in terms of survey from the customers about your product. That's a very good way to attract this information your way while you don't have access to experiments. But as soon as you do that, I recommend getting into experimenting with Amazon, because that's, again, the most important factor to understand how the customers perceive the product. So there are ways.
That's great. And let's put another scenario in where, let's say my bestseller item, right? It's selling well, it's doing well, and suddenly one night Amazon suppress it, right? In that scenario, how do you, control the damage? How do you? What you do? What are the steps?
So if you get suppressed, depends what's the problem, depends how fast you can bring it back up. So that depends on what's happening there. That's a bit of a legal thing, I'd say. And let's assume that even 24 hours is a lot. If you're a bestseller, you're selling a lot, you're on top of the category. This is how, let's look at the wheel. The wheel is always, turning. In order for your new product to get a piece of the market share and also get on top and become a bestseller, others eventually will fall, So if you accept that your product might fall a little, yes, from time to time, and also do your best to bring it back up again, again, like I mentioned earlier, I'm technical. I tend to understand how things work and then just be able to replicate them. Getting one product as a bestseller once and not knowing whatever happened there and how to do that again is a bit of a problem if you're looking on the long run. It's getting through the fire to, get yourself accommodated with the fire. And, the second time you go through fire is like, okay, I've been here before, I know what to do. Is that kind of mindset I have in my head. So, yeah, of course, we don't want to get all the suspensions in the world. Of course, we try to avoid them. But when that happens, well, be in acceptance with the fact that things happen, life happens. Just know how to take it from there and get it back on the top again, through PPC, through product testing, through different ways to, again, build up sales velocity and momentum and make up for the period of time. Hopefully the smaller, the better. But with Amazon, it's always like you never know. So try to make up, because think of it of a history, right? You have a history and Amazon is looking. We don't know. We can assume 60 days, 90 days is looking into the actual sales and the sales velocity and the overall behavior of the product, right? You'll have here a portion of time that your product was suppressed. So that means zero sales, zero visibility, zero everything. Maybe some reviews, good or bad, that can still happen. I don't know, depends. But you have to make up for this part and to put it into the past, right? So as soon as you do that and you start building up again, I'm assuming that the product will go back up again. Depends what the suppression is about. Never know.
Yeah, true. With Amazon, you never know what's going to happen, right?
Yeah.
Tonight and day after tomorrow. Yeah, you put some great points, Marcel.
Thank you, Sebastian.
And my next question will be, means I've seen some of your videos, and one of the main points that you mentioned, again, you mentioned that on this video also, building brand awareness, right? Will you look into outside of Amazon to drive traffic in that scenario? For example, in 2025, this year?
Well, yes. In terms of outside traffic, yeah, is very important. So I truly believe a brand should have an outside presence. In terms of social media presence, this means have your own website, have your own social media, Facebook, Pinterest, that's a good one, Instagram, TikTok. Try to get visibility and brand awareness from all the social media available, with a little bit of effort from your side, of course, posting and being active on all of them. So yeah, that's very important. And all the traffic to get it into through a funnel, I'd say, first of all, that would be very important because that's cold traffic. You don't want to send all the traffic directly to your Amazon listing. Why? Because that will get you a lot of visibility, a lot of clicks, a lot of impressions that are not converting. And in Amazon's algorithm, you don't want that too much. So again, I would take the social media, the external traffic. It can be ads as well. You can run ads, put it on, send it to your website, send it on a landing page. And from that landing page, whenever people are reading about your product, they're desiring to purchase it. So that's when you send them to Amazon or fulfill everything. You have Shopify and you can sell them directly from your own website and fulfill from Amazon. So you can definitely do that as well. That's another way of doing. But external traffic is very important. I would definitely leverage it. Amazon is just the channel at the end of the day. You want to build a brand. You want the brand to be visible everywhere and not dependent, like you said, with Amazon. You get suppressed with Amazon. Yeah, you're like that. But you want to have let's say, there is life after Amazon. So just to put it like that, right? You want your brand to exist, even if, God forbid, something happens with the Amazon world. Yes, Amazon is great to launch, to be there, to be present, but try to build up beyond Amazon and try to look for other channels as well. That's my take on this one. Yeah,
that's fantastic. It means you put some great points. And Marcel, this has been a fantastic episode. Super tactical, super real. Before I let you go, could you just tell the viewers where they can connect you or learn from you, or maybe hire the services that you offer?
Thank you, Sebastian. Thank you for having me. So yeah, our website is intellirank.info, so you can definitely reach us out. And for everyone that's present here with Sebastian and following on Sebastian, you can reach out and ask for a free PPC growth plan. We can definitely offer that. That's a very detailed consultation that we have on a PPC account, and we can offer a good idea on what to do next, what to improve, what to change, and no strings attached. That's part of what we do. Yeah.
Running a conference, right? Amazing Days. Could you give us a little bit details for that as well?
Oh, thank you for mentioning.
In the show notes as well for that, if somebody want to attend the conference.
Yeah, we're looking forward. Myself and also Sebastian will be there. So it's Amazing Days. The website is amzdays.com. It will be in Sofia on the 28th of April and in Bulgaria. So we're bringing together people in the Balkan area and trying to get and create a very nice community there. We've been doing this for 3 years already. So this will be the 4th one, I believe. Yeah, we are growing. Last year there were 80 people that attended the conference. So we're looking this year for even more. So hopefully we'll see a lot of people there. And I definitely expect good people to join us and share the networking, the fun. And what I can say is that's definitely something Balkan. If you haven't been in the Balkan area, I recommend it at least once. Never know.
Great. Yeah, great. That's great. And you have some great lineup of speakers as well.
Yes.
So I'll put all the links, the LinkedIn profile and the links to the conference and all those details in the show notes. So please do check it out. And thanks a lot to Marcel for coming down and giving all those valuable advice.
Thank you for having me. And if any questions arise, reach out to people. Thank you.
Thank you.